into which fingers he used. Hello, everybody. This is Fernando Labastida, and I'm here with Isaac Carter for a combined podcast, the Catalyst Effect podcast and the Viral Genius podcast. We're here with Lee Arnold from Campus Centry. Why don't you start us off with the first question or comment or whatever, Isaac?
So Lee, Campus Centry, I know that you have a background in teaching, and so Catalo has a venture studio, and we love working with former teachers and retired coaches, and we have a couple of ventures in our studio right now that Greg Gay from Quick Raise is a retired football coach. He's been retired for like 2.5 months now, and he started a team-based sports school fundraising program. Really,
very cool.
Really amazing, that program. We've worked with former educators that have built educational type games, and you have observed a pressing issue with that are affecting schools today. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so a little bit about my background. I worked in education, public schools for 6 years, teaching social studies, and worked in one of the districts in Houston as they were starting to integrate technology into the classroom. So
Right.
having different apps and having different platforms that teachers would use to augment what they were doing to teach.
Right.
And it was great. Loved it until it wasn't great anymore, because when you get started, all of these different systems and platforms are phenomenal because you get to learn and try out new things. The challenge comes in when they don't talk to each other and they're not integrated. And so, as a teacher, that was one of my biggest frustrations is I've already got so much going on every day
Right.
prior to even walking into my classroom to do a lesson. And now I've got 6, 7, 8, 9 tools that I also have to think about. That
And now
don't,
you have to load your class list and all of that information. Each of
Everything.
those separately. Yeah.
And so, over time, you start thinking, well, how can we do this better? And so I left education. I actually jumped into technology. I went through a computer programming boot camp and then said, I want to work in project management. And for the last 7 or so years, I've always had in my mind, I wanted to fix the issues back then. I didn't know how. And 7 years later, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, these challenges still exist. And in some cases, they're worse than they were back when I was doing this because more districts are bringing in technology
Right.
and haven't solved that challenge yet. And so, my thought was, okay, how do I fix it? And it's consolidation. Create one platform that enables all of those systems and tools to communicate or has them integrated already, and then take the stress off the teacher.
Yeah.
Put the onus back on the machine to do some of the basic things that humans are all right at, and systems like AI or whatever can do it better and more efficiently.
Right.
So are you talking about building a new platform that has the tools from these other platforms in it, or are you talking about building an integration framework that is a new application that integrates all of the other tools?
I want to build a new platform that has all of those tools in it
Okay.
and rethinks of how to approach it, because I say this about EdTech companies. They're wonderful that they're trying to solve a challenge for teachers. The thing that I think is missing in a lot of those cases is that they're not in the classroom. They don't sit down with teachers and say, hey, here's our application. What's working? What's not working? And, in all the time that I worked there, I think we had maybe 2
Right.
who were coming from platforms to come talk to us. And it was like, all right, that's great. That's 2 out of the 20 of you that we deal with in our
Right.
district.
So here's
Trying to
something
frame it.
I'm trying to understand. Something I'm kind of struggling with here is, so I don't believe in an MVP, minimally viable product. In my experience, they're never minimal, hardly ever viable, and they're not really a product, right? It's like, well, let's do this in a Google spreadsheet, bam, MVP. I always jump directly to the MP, the minimal marketable product. So what is a product that can scale to a point where I can make a profit and approach a known, and I've said it a million times, create a solution that solves a problem for a known person. So it sounds like what you're trying to do is build something that is replacing 6 products or 3 products or 6 products. But for me, I know what it costs me, my pure cost on 10 features is typically around 30,000, and so your cost on that would be about 70,000 after operational and all that stuff. So, and that is using my process, and when so that's typically like 2,360 hours. Which, if I was doing onshore, traditional near shore, that would be $100,000 and 120,000 or so. And if I was doing traditional software development, you're looking at $300,000 in cost, and that is for 12 to 16 features. And each of your 6 apps are going to have 12 to 16 features, and you're going to have 6 apps in there. So how do you approach a MMP or an MVP when you're trying to replace multiple solutions that are already in the market and have been for several years?
Yeah.
What's your approach to that?
That's a great question. I'm trying to remember where I got this from, but sometimes the best way to do addition is subtraction.
Okay.
And instead of trying to take all of the features from all of those 6 apps, what are the things that are needed the most out of those 6 applications? And if that list is maybe 7 or 8 items, great. Instead of having to do 6 times 6, which would be 36, I'm doing a sixth of the work and delivering 6 times the value.
Yeah.
Because those are the most needed features, and that would come from doing a lot of market research and understanding what teachers use every single day that they need integrated and communicating with each other, and starting there.
Especially in Texas, there has been a standardized education management system. So there is one system that you can write an integration to and cover 90% of the student population in Texas, and it is in most states, I believe, at this point. So that's something that you only have to do once. And then security, account management, all that stuff, you only have to do those things one time. And obviously your installation, your deployment packages, and if you're going to have a mobile app, you only have to do that one time. So I can see that there's operational efficiencies in there, but I'm still seeing you're going to have 6 or 7 features for 6 or 7 applications. So you are looking at a large MMP. Have you identified your first, because really all you need to do addition by subtraction, right? All you really have to do is find 2, right? Because 2, add 1 to replace 2, and now you've just added some operational efficiencies, and now you just have to go through one at a time and add another one, and hopefully you're going to get faster speed each time. Have you identified the 2 that are the candidates for you to approach first?
As in schools to go into first?
No, as in applications to replace the functionality in.
Not yet.
Okay.
And that, I know I'm early stage. I literally started this idea back up probably about 3 weeks ago.
Well, it's actually kind of pretty fortuitous that you're talking to us right now. Then.
Yeah.
Actually, what got me started, this will probably feel like a shameless plug, Code Launch is actually what got me off my butt.
That's what got me off my butt. Jason Taylor's a good friend.
So I was at an event, and Jason was speaking because they were sponsoring, and he told us, like, anybody who's here who wants to get in on this cohort, show up and apply. And I was like, all right, well, I don't have anything else going on right now in my life that is keeping me busy. Let me give myself something to do. And so I was like, I've had this idea for 7 years. Let's just get started and start asking all the right questions, or start asking some of the wrong questions too, to hopefully get to the right questions. That was probably about a month ago.
Okay.
Maybe a little longer than that. And, I'm still working out all the details. I don't know everything. And I love being able to say, I don't know, and doing the research and finding out the answer. So to the question that you're asking, I don't have a great answer yet. And in my world, that's okay, because it means I get to learn and find out what that answer is based on the feedback from potential clients.
Yeah.
And doing my market research and understanding, okay, I think I know what this pain point is. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
Let me know if I'm on base or not.
So in my world, I want to know what you bring to the table as a founder, what your audience is, and what their problem is. So you are starting to get into step 4 of only 5 steps. So you're farther ahead than maybe you think. So the 4th step for me is creating a solution, a feature problem matrix. So you're saying, okay, here are the 6 or 7 problems that I'm trying to solve. And here are the 8 to 12 features I have to develop to solve that. And the beautiful thing is you don't have to build all 6 apps. You need to build 2. And really, maybe you only need to build 1, because if you identify one that has a high pain and you integrate that back to the system, you just eliminated the whole integration component. You find one that you can build better. Now you can start getting that implemented and then add one more and one more and one more. And I've seen a lot of these classroom systems 10 years ago when they really started getting out there. They were primitive to me back then. And now we're seeing, so finding the problem that hits the most. And for me, a problem statement has 6 pillars. Who is the audience? Who's experiencing the pain? What is the problem? What is the pain? The consequence and urgency. And then when you have those 5 steps, then you can start mapping the solution. So I think that you understand who is experiencing the problem. And then you understand what the problem is and what that pain and what the cause is. Now what you need to do is, of those 6 apps, which one has the highest consequence and the highest urgency? And if you can tie that back to risk, health, or anything to do with educational outcome, you can find the one thing that hits those things the most and solve that in a very integrated way. You're off to the races. Now you're getting contracts with Dallas ISD, is really innovative organization, and they really work with a lot of people. If you come to them and say, I have some innovative ways to solve some problems you have in your district, they're, of all of them, very willing to work with those folks. So really good place to start. And yeah, absolutely, you need to, the schools have to figure out a way to solve that for all 6. But if you're able to pull it from the education management system, pull the class rosters, and you're able to solve one of those in a very streamlined way, and maybe also start building some integrations to the other 6, to the other 5, I think that gets you something that's marketable in MMP.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, shameless plug, I have written those the management integration system before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can give you some guidance on that.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
So, so once you go through that process that Isaac talked about, right? And have you thought about your go-to-market strategy? Like, what is your like how have you been thinking about going out to the school districts and getting them to adopt this? Gaining market traction, achieving product market fit, et cetera.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it in the sense of data is going to be my best friend, is the way I look at it. So I want to have something that's pilotable by probably the middle of this semester that's coming up, and start building those relationships with charter schools, talking to some of the key movers and shakers in the district, and saying, hey, I have this platform. I want to try something. I just want to test this out. There's no cost to you all. Let me just come in and show what this thing does and get feedback from potential users. We'll just start there.
Yeah, that's one thing I really love about the education space is there are conferences. These teachers, they all have to do continuing education, so they're reachable.
Yeah. And PDs are starting probably really PDs are starting this week. And so, which is great for me because I need to get in their hands and say, hey, here's a survey. Can you just fill out this form and give me some data? And let's talk about your pain points. And I lovingly get to remind them of their pain points before the year starts and have them think through those things so that I can then turn around and try and solve those problems for them.
Yeah.
And so it's been my mindset.
Yeah.
And one of the principles from Rich Dad Poor Dad that I love was learn to work for free and see the opportunities that exist because you're not focused on the dollar.
Right.
And so I think about it this way. There's an opportunity here to expand and grow. And I may be thinking, way up here, and might be this one little niche that I need to solve first.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that allows us to just crack wide open. So how do I get to that moment? And in my mind, it's start small,
right?
Get connected, and slowly work up. So to your point, Isaac, I don't need to have all of the features. I really just need to have like 1 or 2 to start.
And
Yeah.
Build on
one or two that solve like an urgent pain, like Isaac said, some kind of a pain that's acute, that people are tearing their hair out about it, or they're staying up at night, staring at the ceiling, thinking about it, etc. Because if you can solve that pain, and that pain is real for one or two school districts or charter schools or traditional schools, then there's got to be dozens of other schools experiencing the same pain, right?
Yeah,
and so you want to create that kind of tornado effect, of getting kind of sucked into to something that people are wanting to grab onto.
Yeah, and I think if you're looking at something they're already spending money on, and you can make it faster and less work for the teacher, and then they already have a budget item out there for it. Now you're not having to get them to create it. Like if you create the 7th app,
Right.
now they have to create the budget element for it. It could be even interesting. I would be interested to see what if you replace one of the apps and then you call the other 5. And you say, I want to package you together and be the integration point for you and start sucking your competitors into your ecosystem. I bet you don't need all 5 of them to agree. You need one of them to agree for you to be off to the races.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, those are really cool conversations to have.
Yeah.
Fernando and I are actually working right now on putting together a coaching cohort where we take my upcoming book, Before You Build, and do guide the folks through the act of knowing your audience, knowing their pain points, and then designing that solution, and then designing the go-to-market strategy to go with that, and kind of partner with the team, the folks to design that. And we have a special deal for people that are a member, that are attending Dallas Startup Week. So those are some things that Alex and Fernando and I would love to follow up with you about.
Yeah.
Because for me, what you do before you start building sets the tone for your success from the beginning. Because I know lean startup, build, measure, learn, build, measure, learn. Well, you have to come up with the money somewhere to do the build.
Right.
And you need to know what you're building. They say, hey, the first point is build. Well, no. There's got to be something that comes first.
Right.
How do you go what do you do before you build? And then when you build, the next step is measure. Measure what? What are you measuring it against? You've made some assumptions. Measure the assumption before you start building. And so those are some things that we're walking folks through. I'd love to chat with you more about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, Fernando.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so where can people find you?
Well, easiest place is to go. We're Campus Centry on all the socials. And then campuscentry.com is our website. Come check us out. Would love to connect with folks and really just learn and grow. And build our network more.
So if you're in the education space and you've got a problem that you find exceptionally painful, Lee here would love to talk to you and understand what that is and see if and it could be even that your first product, for me, my first product was consulting.
Yeah.
My first product was going out there and providing a service of implementing something that was already there. Because, a lot of the times when people come to me and say, hey, Salesforce sucks, well, you didn't implement it right. I'm sorry. You're like, oh, I get no benefit whatsoever from Dynamics. That's an implementation problem. If you're getting no benefit from it. So it could be a lot of these folks, what they need is somebody that understands both the technology and the space. And that may be your first product is your knowledge and experience consulting, and then that can pay for the actual solutions.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's a great idea.
And so we've been coming to you live from Dallas Startup Week. We're here with Lee Arnold, Campus Century. I'm Fernando Labastida. This is Isaac Carter. And thank you for joining us. And thanks so much, Lee.
Thanks, everybody.
Right, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for waiting to be on with us, man.
Yeah.
All right.